So your plan that we have working towards your goal, the thing that we have drafted, I used to think of it as something that was pretty concrete. Like we used all the information that we needed, and we came up with the best plan. And it took everything into consideration. And the interesting thing is that in all instances that we've tried to apply it, and I'm not speaking just you and I'm speaking of all the clients I've ever had, it's never really played out the way that we first anticipated, which is interesting, at the same time a little amusing, because we spent all that time trying to make that perfect plan. And I still take the time to learn what your goals are, what you'd like to accomplish, what you're currently doing, what's the steps in between there. Like, that's still going to happen, because that is still an important process. But the plan, the program that we come up with is not set in stone. It's what you might call paper and pencil programming. It's not permanent, but it is structured. It's planned out, but it can be erased and adjusted if needed. It's not in pen or permanent marker. And I think that's a good metaphor, because it allows life to happen. It allows us to make adjustments if we need to. It allows us to consider new things that come to light along the way, or new situations. And that doesn't feel so much of so-called failure if we're not hitting the original program, if we go into it realizing that this is a really good structured program, but it's on pencil and paper and not chiseled in some limestone. And I think that's the approach that we take with nutrition, and I think it also has to be taken in terms of activity and everything else. Really, it's in flux. There's change happening all the time. So anything that we plan for is not going to be etched in stone, and that is something you should consider when you're acting out the plan, because sometimes it's going to work perfectly and sometimes it's not going to be anywhere close to what we anticipated. But that's part of the iterative process. That's the feedback that we need to make adjustments to the plan to make it the right plan. And probably, maybe with time, it becomes a little bit more permanent. It becomes a little bit more darkened and like etched into the paper a little bit. But in the end of the day, any program and any plan that we follow is a pencil and paper plan, meaning it has the structure that we want, it has some forethought, but it has the ability to be adjusted. And I don't see anything as healthy of an approach as that 80-20 pen and pencil approach.